Colonel Sen, I want to come to you about, we are close to the 15th anniversary of 26/11. What were your thoughts when these attacks played out in Israel just a month ago?
See, the surprise element in both the attacks.
Right.
Now, unlike us, we were like India, we were not expecting today also, and at that time also it was not expected that Pakistanis will come and Mumbai will be attacked like this.
Right.
Gunmen will come. You have seen blast, IDs, improvised explosive devices. A terrorist roaming around in the city, in a metro city, and killing innocent people, children, ladies. This fact, kind of thing was actually...
That's, you're there somewhere in that, on the one of the buildings around Nariman House, and that's the Mi-17 dropping your commandos onto the roof. This was also one of the world's first televised attacks, Colonel Sen. Did it horrify you, the fact that this was being, broadcast live on national television?
See, Sandeep, I was, because I didn't mind it. I didn't like it.
Right.
The way, the media has unprofessionally covered it.
Right.
But I can't blame the media also today if I see back, look back. Because the way the city was not prepared.
Right.
The media persons were also not prepared about this kind of attack.
Yes.
So whichever cameraman, whoever, whatever place he was there, everybody was shooting it without thinking, because everything is, unfolding in such a fast pace.
Time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So nobody has that concern. Okay. What I am shooting, what will be the, how the handlers are there. They didn't know there are handlers in the...
So do you believe that this live telecast of the operations, and this is a sore point with a lot of people in the security establishment and of course in the journalistic community, the fact that it actually jeopardized the lives of your commandos as they were rappelling down?
Yeah, it did. It did.
You lost one commando?
Yeah, it jeopardized my operations.
Right.
But what I feel is that nobody had control over this coverage also at that time.
Right. It was like a cricket match. I remember you talking to you.
I myself didn't know
that
I've been telecasted live.
Right.
Suddenly I got a call that you are on TV. Then I realized, okay, this thing is going on live. So, and I also didn't have time at that time to react to, cameraman and camera, because I was more busy about the operation.
I can see you right there on the roof of the Merchant House next to Nariman House.
This is the last blast when the operation finished actually.
And this was being telecast, all of this was being telecast in real
Later
time.
on I believe so, but I don't know which part, up to which part they telecasted live.
Yeah.
But I believe so. Later on some sense prevailed and they stopped it. I believe so.
Right.
I still don't know because I was not sitting in front of the TV at that time.
Right. Of course. But Aditya, what are the lessons that we've learned from 26/11? It's been 15 years, especially the way media covers terrorist strikes. How has the situation changed now?
Well, there are two aspects. One is lessons for media. 26/11 was a lesson, and for the television media, it was a discovery.
Right.
Because for many news channels and editors, editors that I have worked with, it was a fortune, because they realized that this kind of a 24/7 coverage is a new dynamic energy, and this is something that the Indian audiences love to watch, and they are inquisitive, they are politically aware. But if there is a terror attack, if there are people who are dying or their lives are under threat, this is something that the Indian audiences, or perhaps audiences all across the globe, would be really keen and interested to watch. But unfortunately, a lot of lessons have not been implemented, because of course, as per the constitution, there cannot be any laws completely against the television media or the print or the digital media. But I remember I covered a lot of terror attacks after 26/11. From Pathankot to Pulwama to Dina Nagar and others. And I remember in a Pathankot case, it reached Supreme Court, and there was action taken against one television channel. So there have been cases, because unfortunately, like the international media, we do not have conflict reportage training apart from one Ministry of Defense certificate course that really happens. That also, would have helped in training the Indian media as to how to cover terror attacks or conflict regions. At the same time, I would stress that the biggest lesson for us, for the intelligence apparatus and the security forces, has been the more robust sharing of intelligence, of how cohesive approach is, how the central and the state forces and intelligence work together.
Right.
And this was displayed, I think, after the Pulwama terror attack as well, how they work very closely in synergy. And Kashmir is one of the biggest examples of how, at least in the last 10 years, there has been phenomenal coordination with all the forces, and there are the best of the best that are there, including the NSG that is stationed there. In fact, unfortunately, the NSG doesn't get enough opportunities to land in operations in the Kashmir Valley. They were there guarding the territory around the G20 successful meeting that happened recently. But apart from that, I think there is phenomenal synergy that is being seen between the security forces, intelligence, and between the state and the center.
I just
wanted
to say a few things here. See, okay, that is a mistake when you are doing it live.
Yes.
Now I know it won't happen again.
We haven't seen any terror attacks since, which has been kind of
what
broadcast.
Pained me most later on when I saw the channels is that one of the terrorists is giving interview to some channel.
Right.
See, that is furthering their aim.
Yes.
This is what they want.
Right.
This is the thing which they have come to.
Especially when a terror attack is in progress.
And suddenly he is on phone with media and media is playing it.
Right.
So that is furthering their aim and helping them in their spread of their message, which I pain most. That sense should prevail, and it has come now. After that, lot of things have changed, and we have not seen such kind of thing happening again.
Right, but I've asked you this question before also. The 26/11 attacks inspired a lot of copycat attacks, terror attacks across the world. You had the Westgate Mall in Kenya just a few years after 26/11, and then finally you had this massive attack on Paris in 2016, which is literally replicated 26/11. Now, do you believe that the October 7 attacks by Hamas could inspire Pakistan's deep state to carry out something similar?
As a professional soldier, or I love to hear that they will try this.
Right.
Why? What Hamas achieved in this operation? They killed so many innocent civilians.
Yes.
Children, male, female, elderly. And what they are getting now? Israel is inside Gaza.
Yeah.
Their tunnel networks has been destroyed. Hamas is almost finished, and it will be finished. They have now, Israelis have a license to kill Hamas,
right,
which they would not have done otherwise.
Yeah.
This attack would have not taken place. Israel could not have gone inside. So this is an opportunity which has been given to Israel, and Israel is taking it on.
Right.
And there is less pressure. Their international pressure will always be there in both in any force which is going to operate. But it is very less. Same way, if the Pakistan tries to do this, where will they do? They will do along with the J&K.
Yes.
In that area only, along the fence, and mass raid can take place, and that will give an opportunity to Indian Army to go inside the J&K, Pak-occupied Kashmir. So if Pakistan wants that and they want our army to go inside, they should try it. Why not?
Right.
Why not?
So it could actually trigger off war between India and Pakistan.
I hope they will do, and we will get the POK. That will give an opportunity to us.
Right. In fact, News9 Plus has had the most comprehensive coverage of the 26/11 attacks. We have a series of stories on around 26/11, and the fourth part of our 26/11 coverage by my colleague Geeta Datta talks about the Pakistan Army's involvement in the terror attacks. This is an aspect that hasn't been given enough attention. Let's watch.
The attacks came as a surprise to the Indian state, both to the security establishment and the political leadership, both in terms of their intensity and in their brutality. It was actually immediately within a few hours established that there was a Pakistani hand in the attacks.
I think you can't carry out an operation as sophisticated as the Mumbai operation in 2008 unless you have a state institution like ISI ultimately planning and directing it. LET is a pretty sophisticated organization in its own right, and it all points to what was ultimately an ISI-directed, planned, and organized operation.
There is absolutely no question that the ISI was involved hook, line and sinker. And the only thing is, I think what we should have done perhaps at the time was to name and shame that so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so is involved and they should be put on a no-fly list. Something like that where we name the generals and say these people were responsible for the death of so many innocent people.
News9 Plus. Download now.